Yes, hello, and thank you very much for having me. It's a great honor to have a speech here about the issue of sustainability. And my name is Ole Wintermann. I'm working for the Bertelsmann Foundation in Germany, and I'm head of the project regarding sustainable operational change. And I want to introduce today some of our topics regarding this issue. If you want to have further information about the Bertelsmann Foundation, or in German Stiftung, you can find us on the internet and take a short look on our issues which we are dealing with. If you want to have further information regarding our own project regarding sustainability in corporations, you can take a look. It's unfortunately only in German. Sorry for that. It's Zukunft der Nachhaltigkeit.de, future of sustainability.de, if you like, and take a look. And if you have any questions, please let me know. What is the whole agenda of our program, of our department? We have 4 different modules which are dealing with different issues. The one module which is shaping with the discourse of a sustainable social market economy. Second, we want to provide empirical steering knowledge for sustainable social market economy. Third, we want to empower small and medium-sized enterprises for the twin transformation. And for the fourth, we want to make sustainable value creation by companies measurable. And it also comes together to competitiveness and transformation to sustainability and participation. That's our program for the next 3 or 4 years in the Bertelsmann Foundation. And in my project, we have a special study logic from the general to the specific. Last year, we released a study about the definition of transition. Twin transition means the digitization and sustainable transformation of companies. The second study has been released. It was the first case study regarding operational practice about companies and sustainability. The third study was released just 2 weeks ago, and it was a kind of meta study regarding the actual state of research. And the last step will be the transformation study. And we want to introduce you some of the results of our studies. First, the definition paper, so-called, the twin transformation to sustainability. And we gathered 15 experts from the new work, culture and community to deal and to discuss the issue of twin transformation. And twin transformation is the digitization, using the digitization for the goal of sustainability in companies. And what's interesting is that you can combine your work, especially mobile working, participation and self-determination, for reaching more sustainability. But in companies nowadays, these all elements are rarely thought of together so far. And you have to develop further on new participatory, work cultures, to have a cultural change and to develop skills of employees further on. Ideally, from the point of our experts, the environment becomes a natural part of every team, of every project, an integrated part of the team. And this is able then after that to enable sustainable innovation systems. But for that purpose, you have to make a fundamental reorganization of the company and the incentive structure, which is also combined with changing political guidelines and regulations on the political level. The second study was about business and sustainability, and it was a kind of interview study. We interviewed 18 CEOs and HR responsible people in medium-sized companies in Germany. And we want to have a first proof of concept of our theoretical concepts of the first study. And the answer of the 18 people was that the twin transformation is already in full swing. And what was for me very important to know and to hear that sustainability is a result of corporate culture and values and not so far primarily driven by economic considerations. So this is the answer from the front runners of the companies. And the front runners not only dealing with the kind of sustainable a business model, but a more generative understanding of sustainability. So what can your company do to improve the environment, not only to seek to preserve the state of environment, but also to improve it? Very interesting results. The front runners said to us that expenditures are not costs, but more investments. But these investments and the positive result of the investments regarding sustainability are not yet broadly reflected in the market. The market price is not rewarding these sustainable behaviors. It's a pity. Because without sustainability, ecological, economic, and social companies are not fit for the future. And they're called for a stronger role of the state regarding tightening of standards and to have a level playing field for all companies to same external preconditions for their business models. And the third study was the meta study regarding the twin transformation. And in the meta study, we wanted to have a closer look on the state of research regarding the twin transformation or twin transition. This meta study is placed in a really complex environment, in a current global state of conflicts and debates. You know all these points as well. You have new work which is an enabler for example, for sustainability. You have digitization, which can also enable new work, but also can hinder more sustainability as a result of rebound effects. You have the Ukraine war right in the center, which boosts and endangers sustainability. We have Corona, which also boosts different developments. And our goal of the meta study was to combine and to have a closer, complex look at all these interactions and to have some results of it. We want to have a qualitative, not a quantitative, but a qualitative look at scientific findings. And we want to identify relevant entrepreneurial fields of action and success factors. And for that purpose, we identified in the first step about 500 studies, podcasts, and blogs, only in German. It's only Germany. We identified these first hits, which deals in any way with the twin transition. And after pre-selections and a result evaluation, all these 500 hits resulted in 122 relevant hits. And there we take a closer look. And because it's a very complex story, we formulated some hypotheses beforehand and to have a kind of proof of concept of these hypotheses. And I want to introduce it to you, the results. The first one was that we thought that digitization and sustainability has so far been understood as separate developments in the literal and corporate practice. And so therefore, twin transformation had not yet found its way into general usage in the companies. And yes, it can be confirmed. The need for clarification of the concept really remains very strong because there are different imaginations and understandings of twin transformation, digitization, sustainability. And so there has to be clarified. The second hypothesis has been that these three dimensions of sustainability, ecological, social, and economic, are of equal value and weight, and that's not true. The ecological dimension dominates, which is good because it's most important from my point of view. But economic and social sustainability has to be more operationalized, and has to come into companies in the daily business more operationalized. Or I hate these words, sorry for that. The third hypothesis is that we thought that the majority of German medium-sized companies has sustainability only as a reputation topic. And it's good that it's falsified because we observed that greenwashing is a very sensitive issue in German companies, and that they are aware that that could become an image problem. And because of that, reputation means really true empathy for sustainability in the management, and not only just for greenwashing issues. It's a very interesting and good result. The next hypothesis is that sustainability offers solid business management potential, but regarding on the way or through the reduction of resource consumption and through more attractiveness for employees. And it's a potential-oriented imagination and hypothesis, and it was confirmed, especially regarding employees' attractiveness among young employees. But the problem is, it's very funny that these positive side effects are not really marketed by the companies because they are not aware of these potential. The next point is that the lack of human resources and corresponding skills in the companies are a problem for implementation of sustainability. And yes, it's true. It can be confirmed. There's a lack of time and a lack of time resource and a lack of resources, personal resources, human resources. The main barrier for implementing more sustainability in these medium-sized companies. The next point is that we thought that sustainability in German companies are primarily driven by their customers and customer demands. Yes, that's right. It's a strong confirmation. The customers are really the most important transformation driver, but it's a very interesting finding because there are also other opinions that we need a new kind of balancing system, value balancing system in the companies for using controlling systems for steering potentials for reaching more sustainability. But the customer are very important, until now the most important driver. The next point is that we had the idea that the digital transformation have brought the world closer together, and so climate change and global economic events becomes more aware. And unfortunately, there's no clear statement possible so far because the complexity of the interactions, because it's a social issue and it's a technical issue, and you have to measure the interactions, is very complex and is not really quantified so far. And the last point was that we thought that digitization supports the process of understanding the need for sustainability and the availability of data regarding the using of resources in the companies, and that would result in more sustainability. Unfortunately, there's no confirmation regarding the stringency of these causality. There are no studies. That's a problem. There are no studies, but it means not that there are no evidence of these issues. So our last step, the next study will deal with different topics which are mixed together from all these three other studies. And our first thoughts regarding the last study is where can we provide an added value through dealing with this issue and making another story. And so we have structured different approaches which were released the last years regarding this issue of digitization and or sustainability. You have studies regarding the financial incentives for more sustainable consumption or production. You have the approach of dedicated resources to address the issue or to implement specific offices, like the Chief Digitization Officer in the last 10 years, maybe a special Chief Sustainability Officer. You have the approach of training the employee. You have the approach of of having more transparency and measurability, sustainability, so becoming aware of the problem and doing the right thing afterwards. You have demonstration objects with which you can make a showcase and show how transformation to that sustainability makes sense. And you have the approach of involving employee representatives. And there are some other type of studies which already exist. It's only a German view, but again, I can imagine that it's possible to use this structure also at the international level as well. You have the approach of flat hierarchies. It comes from the New Work approach, very interesting one from my point of view. You have the approach of the allocation of responsibilities for doing the transformation. You have the more technocratic approach of having a strategy from the CEO, which is a more top-down approach. But also you have bottom-up approaches, like participation-oriented approaches by the employees. You have behavior-oriented approaches, which focus more on communication and neuroculture, or internal or external regulations. So you have a more goal-oriented behavior, and you have the leadership behavior. Some days ago, we released a current study about the context of climate protection and social injustice, and the authors focused very much on the regulation issue, and they also told us that it would make sense to have a debate about values, about the right values regarding our consumption. So it's the topic of luxury goods, which are the most climate damaging consumption worldwide, and because they are very energy intensive, and so they said that we need more debates about regulatory instruments. But as you know, there are always some really polarized scientific debates between demand-oriented and supply-oriented instruments regarding climate protection. And so it's another topic, and from my point of view, it makes very sense not only to see corporates in their small environment, but also corporates as an element of society and element of politics. And so it makes sense to have a more broader picture. But how we deal with this in the end for the last study, we did not know until yet. And in the next weeks, we will have a clearer picture. And please, if you have any questions regarding these further steps, the next steps, or also to these slides, please get in contact with me via Twitter or LinkedIn. You can reach me or our project under these accounts. And on the left side of the slide, you can scan the QR code, and you will directly get our publications. Our publications are partly in English as well, and all publications are released under the Creative Commons license, so feel free to use it. Thank you very much.